Marvel vs. Capcom is a fighting game franchise featuring characters from a wide variety of Capcom franchises and comic book series by Marvel. The franchise originated as an arcade game and would go on to be a console staple. The franchise is a fan favorite around the world and has ingrained itself in pop culture. It has no shortage of fun facts and strange details behind it. I have always been a huge fan of Capcom and Marvel, so naturally the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise is hands down one of my favorite of all time. I'm going to break down a Marvel vs. Capcom Iceberg today, created by DeaNarSon on Reddit and YouTube. Links to his channel and Reddit can be found in the description. I couldn't finish this without his insight. I won't explain what an iceberg is in this video. If you don't know what an iceberg is, I will link a brief explanation video in the description. Level 1. Children of Atom. Children of Atom is an X-Men fighting game and also the first Capcom-developed fighting game using licensed Marvel characters, released in 1994 in Japan for arcade systems and later in 1995 in North America and Europe. It was later ported to PC, Sega Saturn, and PS1. Many voice actors from the iconic X-Men animated series reprised their roles. The storyline is based on the comic series Fatal Attractions. Gameplay is similar to the two previous Capcom fighting games that precede Children of Atom, Darkstalkers and Super Street Fighter II Turbo. Marvel Superheroes. Marvel Superheroes is the second Capcom-developed fighting game using licensed Marvel characters, released in arcades in 1995 and later Sega Saturn and PS1 in 1997. Marvel Superheroes is a successor to Children of Atom and expanded the rosters of the wider Marvel universe instead of solely focusing on the X-Men. The plot of the game is loosely based on the Infinity Gauntlet run of comics, which places Thanos as the game's main antagonist. Characters such as Hulk, Captain America, and Spider-Man make their series debut, with Wolverine, Psylocke, Magneto, and Juggernaut returning from Children of Atom. X-Men vs. Street Fighter. X-Men vs. Street Fighter released to arcades in 1996 with a Sega Saturn port coming a year later in 1997 and a PS1 port that was released in 1998. X-Men vs. Street Fighter officially marks the full-fledged Marvel and Capcom crossover. It was also the first time the series introduced high-paced tag team gameplay to the classic Street Fighter formula. Infinite Combos. This refers to combos that essentially can go from full health to zero health, a combo that can go on forever.
How's it taste? Keep the rhythm up. If you fuck up the rhythm, the motherfucking combo will drop, motherfucker. Keep that motherfucking shit up. You keep that same motherfucking rhythm. If you drop this motherfucker, then it will not be motherfucking cool. You can cancel it out into motherfucking Heavy Punch Ultra, but I ain't gonna do that shit.
Heroes and Heralds. Heroes and Heralds is a unique game mode introduced in 2011's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. The premise of the mode is to collect cards into a deck depicting a variety of Marvel and Capcom characters that give you different buffs in the game to alter your gameplay within the mode. Justin Wong. Justin Wong is an icon in the Capcom and fighting game community. He is a professional player who competitively mains the Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom franchise. His career began in 2001 and since then he has accumulated 9 different EVO championships, more than anyone else up to this point. A true gangster. NY Chris G. NY Chris G is another professional esports player who mains UMVC3. He is the 2016 EVO champ and has been active since 2011. Other than MVC, he mains MK9, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade, King of Fighters, and more. Filipino champ. Ryan Ramirez, aka the Filipino champ, is a notorious figure in the community, being a former UMVC3 EVO champ who was banned by Capcom from ever entering another tournament due to a racially disparaging tweet. Maximilian Dude. Maximilian Dude is a legend in the gaming community and fighting game community, specifically on YouTube. As of August 2021, he is trending for single-handedly rallying the community into re-releasing MVC2 on modern consoles. He has been a member and staple of the gaming community since 2007 and uploads regularly to this day. Level 2. Ruby Hart. Ruby Hart is one of 4 characters original to the MVC franchise. She debuted as a primary protagonist of MVC2, however was originally designed to be a Darkstalker character. Her design is very unique as she is a French pirate who uses a myriad of different powers and weapons in gameplay. Ruby Hart is only playable in MVC2 but appears as a background cameo in the Days of Future Past stage of UMVC3. Ruby also cameos as a character card in SNK vs. Capcom Card Fighters Clash. Sun III. Sun III, or just Sun, is another original character to the MVC series. Unlike Ruby Heart, Sun III is actually the granddaughter to another established Capcom character, the original Sun from the retro Capcom arcade game from 1984 of the same name. Sun III utilizes combat training given to her by her grandfather and has the supernatural ability to transform into a hulking monkey. Sun III only appears as a playable character in MVC2 and also has a background cameo in the Days of Future Past stage, as well as a character card in Card Fighters Clash. Amingo. Amingo belongs to the half-man, half-plant alien race named the Man-Plants. This race is known for being quite gleeful and very gentle. When Earth's plant life is mysteriously dying from a cursed wind, Amingo ventures off to find the cause of it and discovers the ancient armor of erosion. More on that later. Amingo's appearance is incredibly unique as he is a burly cactus man, garbed in Mexican attire and holding a guitar. His only playable appearance is MVC2, and he also appears in the Days of Future Past stage. While unconfirmed, there have been long-standing rumors that Amingo is the main protagonist of a never-released Capcom game. Shadow and Shadow Lady. Shadow is a palette swap of Street Fighter's Charlie and made his debut in Marvel Super Heroes vs. Street Fighter. In the previous X-Men vs. Street Fighter, the ending slides for Charlie depict him being captured by M. Bison's evil organization, the Shadaloo, and being experimented on. The fate of Charlie was left ambiguous until we see him again in the form of Shadow in MSH vs. Street Fighter. He appears as a secret assist character in MVC1, and Shadow disappears after that. MVC2 reintroduces Charlie in his normal state. Shadow Lady is a fully cybernetic Chun-Li who was captured by M. Bison and the Shadaloo, just like Charlie. She appears as a secret character in MVC1. Shadow Lady dons the same outfit as Chun-Li, but recolored to make her color scheme dark blue and bright gold. Unlike Chun-Li, Shadow Lady uses an arsenal of missiles and lasers. Chun-Li in UMVC3 has an alternate skin that gives her Shadow Lady's color scheme, and has appeared as a guest appearance boss in Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Norimaru. Norimaru is a Japanese exclusive character in MSH vs. Street Fighter. He is a joke character based on popular Japanese comedian Noritake Kanashi. He frequently breaks the fourth wall, being huge fans of all characters he interacts with, and he acknowledges that the Marvel characters come from comic books. He dresses like a stereotypical 90s Japanese nerd, wearing a wild purple school uniform with a name tag and glasses. He possesses one of the most unique fighting styles in the entire franchise, as he doesn't actually fight at all. He throws a variety of different items at the opponent to deal damage, ranging from Akuma dolls to banana peels. Interestingly, Norimaru became the basis for the playstyle of Phoenix Wright in MVC3. The reason why he was cut from international releases is unknown, as data mining shows that his localization was almost complete and the decision to remove him must have came late in development. Wanna Take You for a Ride. I Wanna Take You for a Ride may as well be the theme song for the entire franchise. This sick, jazzy track appeared as the Character Select theme song for MVC2, with remixes of the song being a 3 and Ultimate 3. The song was composed by Tetsuya Shibata and Mitsuhiko Takano. Since the song was heard in-game, the community has not been able to accurately deduce who the female singing was. Many, including myself, believe it was probably a voice chop from an obscure lost 90s sample CD. The same Wanna Take You for a Ride sample can be heard in a song of the same name by New Jazz Hustler and G-String on the album Trance Factory. Akuma in Children of Atom. Akuma is secretly playable in Children of Atom by entering a specific sequence of inputs on the Character Select menu. Technically, this is the first Capcom character to be introduced in the Marvel property. Anita in Marvel Superheroes. Anita is a character from the Darkstalkers franchise with very powerful psychic abilities. She appears as a secret playable character in the Japanese version of MSH. However, she was considered a test character and was largely left incomplete, making her a very buggy and unbalanced character to use if unlocked. Some of her attacks involve cameos from other Capcom characters such as Akuma, Shenko's sister Mei Ling, and the body of Donovan. Roll in Marvel vs. Capcom. Roll is Mega Man's younger sister and appears in MVC1 as a secret unlockable character and reappears in 2. She is unlocked by a series of inputs on the Character Select screen, much like Akuma from Children of Atom. She is considered a joke character as she is a slower and less effective clone of Mega Man. However, she is significantly shorter than most other characters, which can prove advantageous. Tier makers for MVC 1 and 2 see her as so much of a joke character that many tier lists have a dedicated Roll tier. Cyber Akuma. Cyber Akuma is the final boss of MSH for Street Fighter and is a cybernetically enhanced version of Akuma that is under the control of Apocalypse. Cyber Akuma only appears after this in a non-canon Street Fighter comic series called Street Fighter Unlimited in issue 10, and as an alternate skin for Akuma in Ultimate 3. Ultron Sigma. Ultron Sigma is the primary antagonist of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. He is a cybernetic fusion of the Avengers villain Ultron and the Mega Man villain Sigma. Ultron Sigma is considered one of the series' most powerful antagonists, possessing all combined powers of both characters and the ability to wield the Infinity Stones. They're just functions. Prior to the release of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, players were less than thrilled by the roster and the lack of returning and iconic characters, most notably the X-Men characters. In response to why fan-favorite Marvel characters were not returning, Capcom representative Peter Rosas said, quote, "If you were to actually think about it, these characters are just functions. They're just doing things. Magneto, case in point, is a favorite because he has an 8-way dash and he's really fast, right? Well, guess what? Nova can do the same thing. Captain Marvel can do the same thing. Ultron can do the same thing. It's just the function that people are associating with the character, and there's no shortage of that. We made sure that all proper playstyles can be represented with our current roster."
You serious?
I don't think I need to really say much about that statement. This spawned an outrage within the community, as most understood that the characters were not included due to Disney licensing issues, and this answer was a poor attempt at deflection. Chun-Li's face. Chun-Li's face is a popular meme that peaked prior to the release of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. The story trailer for the game that came out showed a hilariously poor quality cutscene with Chun-Li's face looking significantly worse than the Street Fighter games that preceded it. This sparked a massive influx of memes and jokes within the community. Secret skins. These refer to the alternate versions of characters in MSH vs. Street Fighter and MVC1. Characters with the same movesets as established characters but different colors or models. These include Dark Sakura, US Agent, Mephisto, Gold War Machine, Orange Hulk, and Red Venom, and more. Altered MVC2 credits. This refers to how the arcade version and the console version of MVC2 have different credit slides. One example is in the arcade version of the game, there is an image that depicts Spider-Man taking a photo with Morrigan, but on console this was replaced with Sakura. Level 3. Abyss. Abyss is another original character to the franchise and is the primary antagonist of MVC2. Abyss is an ancient sentient weapon that can take on 3 different forms: the Armor of Erosion, the Guardian, and the Abyss. Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past is a stage in UMVC3 based on the comic run of the same name. The stage prominently features a large wanted poster of Marvel and Capcom characters, labeling them either apprehended or slain. This is the characters on the poster: Cyclops, Colossus, Captain Commando, Mero, Ruby Heart, Iceman, Jin Sayatome, Gambit, Hayato, Psylocke, Cable, Rogue, Sun, BB Hood, Amingo, and Mega Man. Mega Man is the only face that has been left without a status, meaning he is alive. Sentinel Coda 94. Coda 94 is the Sentinel designation for the playable Senta in Children of Atom through Ultimate 3. He is a secret assist character in Marvel Superheroes. He is modeled after the Sentinel Mark V from the X-Men comics. He typically has a purple and blue color scheme and is a much larger sprite than other characters. Magneto DLC costume. This refers to a DLC costume that was released for Magneto in Ultimate 3 that changed his appearance into the King of Spain. This actually comes from the House of M run of comics, where Scarlet Witch uses her reality-bending powers to make her father, Magneto, the supreme leader of mutant kind. He then changed his appearance to mirror the King of Spain as a display of power. There were rumors of Spain threatening legal action against Capcom for using the likeness of King Juan Carlos, and the skin was promptly removed from the game forever. It's still very possible to find a skin mod on PC that re-adds it. Interestingly, Marvel Comics also received flack for publishing their original comic art in the first place. PS1 ports. The PS1 ports of X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and MVC1 all differ from the arcade versions as they have the tag team element removed, due to RAM limitations of the PS1. The gameplay changes to a best 2 of 3 round setup. The Punisher. The very first time Marvel and Capcom ever had a partnership together, it was for the 1993 arcade beat-em-up, The Punisher. This game was a typical side-scrolling beat-em-up from the time and featured Punisher and Nick Fury fighting their way through the streets of New York to take down Kingpin. Despite the history Punisher has with both Marvel and Capcom, he has never appeared as a playable character in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. He was rumored to be a cut character in MVC2 and as a cameo in Frank West's ending slides in Ultimate 3, as a zombie. Captain America has an alternate skin in Fate of Two Worlds that gives him Punisher's skull logo, and he is a card in Heroes of Herald's mode. Other than this, Punisher is nowhere else in Marvel vs. Capcom. Assist Me. Assist Me is an old YouTube series by Maximilian Dude giving players helpful tips and tutorials while also interweaving comedic skits. Playable Galactus. Using a series of inputs on the main menu in either version of MVC3 can give you the ability to play as Galactus. Alternatively, you can accumulate 30,000 player points and unlock the ability. Former Capcom dev Seth Killian stated in an interview from Destructoid that Galactus mode was inspired by the various hack-based videos of MSH for Street Fighter which showed Apocalypse as a playable character. Ultron Omega. Ultron Omega is the final boss of MVCI and is a giant, more advanced form of Ultron Sigma. Killer Bee Cammy first appeared in X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Cammy as a character first appeared in Super Street Fighter II in 1993. However, she later went on to become an agent of M. Bison using the codename Killer Bee. It's generally believed Killer Bee Cammy first appeared in Street Fighter Alpha 3, but this is not the case. X-Men vs. Street Fighter had usage of assets for the coming Street Fighter Alpha 3 and utilized this version of Cammy for the game. X-Men vs. Street Fighter released in 1997 with Alpha 3 following in 1998. On-disc DLC. Around the release of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, data miners had found that characters and costumes slated for a DLC release were already fully implemented onto the disc of the game and were simply locked away. This proved to be very controversial within the community, as players believed they should have access to everything within the disc. Capcom responded with what the community felt was a weak response, citing memory issues and compatibility issues. A similar controversy unfolded with Street Fighter 4. Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday is a phrase the community coined for what happens when you catch two of your opponent's characters in a combo or hyper combo. The origin of the term comes from a streamer named Vic who was famously caught in this double character combo on his birthday. A Merry Christmas would be catching all three opponents in a combo. Bone Claw Wolverine. Before his skeleton was bonded with adamantium, Wolverine's claws were made of normal bone. Both Adamantium Wolverine and Bone Claw Wolverine are playable in MVC2 and take up different character slots. Level 4. 60 characters in MVCI. This refers to when the Filipino champ got his hands on an MVCI dev kit and showed on stream there was originally 61 slated characters and 18 stages. Nobody knows how he managed to get this dev kit or forego any type of non-disclosure agreement, but Capcom was not happy with this information getting out and fined him a hefty amount of money, and he was not active on social medias for months after. Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is supposedly in development as of August 2021, according to unverified leaks. The most concrete evidence of its existence is in June 2021, Twitch added a streaming category called Marvel vs. Capcom 4. This has since been removed and no information has ever been given. All we have are rumors. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse is a side-scrolling action game released in 1994 around the time of Children of Atom and was developed and published by Capcom and released for the Super Nintendo. Marvel Superheroes and War of the Gems. This is another side-scrolling action beat-em-up developed and published by Capcom for the Super Nintendo in 1996. The game is largely based on the Infinity Gauntlet run of comics. No Street Fighter character cards. In the Heroes and Heralds mode, there are character representations from a wide variety of different franchises from both sides, but interestingly, Street Fighter is completely omitted. Akuma is Dan's father. In Dan's ending slides in MSH vs. Street Fighter, Akuma is depicted as Dan Hibiki's father. This is completely non-canon. The Street Fighter lore establishes Go Hibiki as Dan's father, who was later killed by Sagat. Sakura's son. Street Fighter Sakura has a nameless son who appears in a non-canon ending slide for MSH for Street Fighter. This mysterious son is only seen in this slide and is never seen or mentioned again. Changed Deadpool voice lines. In pre-release promotional footage for MVC3, Deadpool had completely different voice lines accompanying the moves in-game. Doc Ock and MVC3. Developer Ryoto Nitsuma said on Twitter in 2016 that one of the characters that didn't make the roster was Doc Ock. He stated they worked on him for a very long time and even had a finished theme song, finished character art, and recorded voice lines in Japanese. The reason why he was cut is they had too many glitches and technical errors getting his arms to function. The bugs couldn't be ironed out before release, so he was canned. However, Doc Ock was not the only cut character, not by a long shot. According to Nitsuma, Blade was considered to join the roster, but was cut before they began work on him as they felt there were too many sword users. Reddit user SexyElf77 compiled a list of the rest of the characters, which include, from the Capcom side, Nina from Breath of Fire, Fu Lu, Nina, Kat, Soki, Mai Ling, Tessa, Chuck Green, Mega Man X, Arietta, Jean, Guile, Ingrid, John Talbane, Dimitri, Anita and Donovan, Monster Hunter, Francisca Von Karma, and Gil. For the Marvel side, you got Multiple Man, Spiral, Thing, Fantastic Four as one character, and then later they tried to do the Human Torch, and then Mr. Fantastic, and the Thing, all of which were cut. Spider-Woman, Miles Morales, Black Panther, Venom, Carnage, Juggernaut, Cloak and Dagger, Rogue, Psylocke, Squirrel Girl, Loki, Mystique, Vision, Kingpin, The Hood, Captain Marvel as Miss Marvel, the one with the yellow lightning bolt, Emma Frost, War Machine, Elektra, Cyclops, and Luke Cage. These characters were cut for a myriad of reasons, including technical bugs, licensing issues, lack of time, and Capcom felt some of them were clone characters. Some were a long ways into development where others never left the drawing board. During development, the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami happened, which threw a wrench in development, and many ideas and characters were lost. MVC Origins. MVC Origins is a 2-in-1 compilation of Marvel superheroes and MVC1 developed by Iron Galaxy Studios, released for PS3 and Xbox Live Arcade in 2012. The game was praised for maintaining the arcade version's integrity and also having some cool new features and extras. This game has since been wiped from all digital storefronts like every other Marvel game before the Disney buyout. References in Ultimate Spider-Man. There is an episode of the Disney XD Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that has a comedic scene that depicts Spider-Man and the Avengers characters fighting in a video game that looks strikingly similar to Street Fighter. The poses Spidey does in the show are recreations of his animations in Marvel vs. Capcom. The other Avengers that show up also have very similar movements to their MVC counterparts. Level 5. References in Disc Wars Avengers. In an episode of the anime Marvel Disc Wars Avengers, there is a depiction of two of the characters playing a game that is suspiciously similar to MVC. Ruby Heart game-breaking glitch. There is a bug in MVC2 that has been banned from being utilized in competitive gameplay for its tendency to break the game. If a player holds down the taunt button while using Ruby Heart's Warzale special, a multitude of match-breaking bugs can take place, primarily one that has her flying off screen for an extended period of time before dropping back to the ground. What makes this really banned, however, is the fact that it can also straight up trigger a freeze and require a hard reset. Costume-specific quotes. In UMVC3, if you wear a certain costume with a certain character and acquire a certain win condition, you will hear a unique voice line based on the character you're playing and the costume you're wearing. Frank West was going to be in MVC3. Frank West from Dead Rising was initially supposed to be in the roster of Fate of Two Worlds and even appears in promotional art for the game, but was cut late in development due to technical problems caused by his rather unique special moves. Of course, he was later put into Ultimate 3. Bonus fact, his theme song is a remix of Adam the Clown's theme song from the original Dead Rising. Self-tagging voice lines in Infinite. This refers to a video where a hacker faced Maximilian and MVCI using a team of two Dantes. Only viewers noticed something interesting. Dante had a fully recorded voice line for tagging himself in. This confused the community as it's impossible to have two of the same fighter on the team in the vanilla game, begging the question if mirror teams were at one point a possibility and were scrapped before launch. Ken and Iron Fist and MVCI. Neither of these characters physically appear in-game, but can be seen on a mock fight poster in the background of one of the stages in New Metro City. Spider-Man and Captain America classic themes in Infinite. MVCI features unlockable remixes of Captain America and Spidey's classic theme songs from Marvel vs. Capcom 1. Oblivion. In the story of MVCI, Grandmaster Mayo takes control of Zero on No Moon, the Guardians of the Galaxy Strider mashup stage. When confronted by X, Zero says, "I am Oblivion." Level 6. Earth 30847. Earth 30847 is the official Earth designation for the MVC franchise within the Marvel Multiverse. The chronology starts with the Punisher game and currently ends with MVCI. Every Capcom developed or published Marvel game or crossover between these games also falls within this universe. The universe was officially canonized within the Marvel Multiverse in 2015's comic series Spider-Verse Volume 1, Issue 2. Before this issue, the universe was designated as TRN-117, TRN standing for Temporary Reality Numbers Classification System. There was a lot of confusion about the staff roll ending music in MVC2. There's no difference between the Japanese and Western version, but some people had believed that the Japanese version had a song by the J-pop artist Ayumi Hamasaki called Audience. No official information was ever revealed about this relation, and the singer herself had never stated anything about it. The confusion originates from an old MVC2 video that simply plays this song at the ending. It is completely impossible for this song to be the end credits song, as Marvel vs. Capcom 2 released in Japan on February 24, 2000, and the song Audience did not release until November 2000. Tomichin. Tomichin is a joke character and a parody of Capcom developer Atsushi Tomita, who was an assistant designer on COA and MSH and a lead designer on X-Men vs. MSH and MVC1. Tomichin is a nickname given to him by his fellow staff, and his character strongly resembles Bert from Sesame Street. His only appearance is in The Secret File, which is a booklet that came with arcade releases for MSH vs. Street Fighter where he stands in for Tomita and explains different mechanics of the game. Data miners have discovered unused sprites and voice lines deep within the code of MVC1. His sprites are largely incomplete and have no animations. Chances are he was used as a test character by devs. Chun-Li is an honorary X-Man. This refers to Chun-Li's ending in X-Men vs. Street Fighter, where Professor X offers her an invitation to train at Xavier Academy and share her knowledge with the X-Men and have them teach her some things. She is gracefully accepted into the Academy by the X-Men.
Mega Man X and MVC3. Mega Man X was rumored to be included in MVC3, but fans were shocked and even disappointed when Capcom chose Zero from the X series to represent the franchise instead. Mega Man X later appeared in Infinite and as an alternate skin in UMVC3.
The vs. Street Fighter titles share the same stages. X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter have the same set of stages in both games. Both games share the exact same titles and layouts with only aesthetic changes being made. 2v2 or 1-on-1 arcade run in MVC3. There was once an online event on MVC3's online arcade mode that let players play through the arcade mode in 2v2 or 1v1. This was only a temporary event and cannot be accessed again without modding. Omega Red kills Ryu. Omega Red's ending in MSH for Street Fighter depicts Ken clutching the lifeless body of Ryu while Omega Red says some cold-blooded shit to Ken.
Enough said.
It was all in Ken's dream. Ken's ending in Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter sees Ryu shaking him awake as he sleeps under a tree. When he wakes up, he says he had the most peculiar dream, that he and Ryu had battled superheroes and one of them shot lasers from his eyes.